would say.
That's
yes,
right.
That's a very good point. Now, Ryan, great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tucker.
Well, Michael Flynn's life, his family's life, was completely destroyed because intelligence officials unmasked his identity on a perfectly legal phone call. Now the names of those who did that could be revealed, and my God, they should be. Fox's Ed Henry has the very latest on this. A scoop for us just ahead. At the very end of his presidential administration, Barack Obama ordered Jim Comey and his goons at the FBI to investigate incoming National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Why? Because Flynn had had a phone conversation with the Russian ambassador, the now famous Kislyak. The question is, how did Obama know that that phone call took place? Well, because Mike Flynn's identity had been improperly unmasked by someone. Who did that? Soon we may know who did that. Ed Henry is co-host of America's Newsroom and author of Saving Colleen, which you can pre-order now, and you should. He joins us with more. Hey, Ed.
Thanks, Tucker. Now, we first broke the news right here last week about Rick Grenell bringing secret intelligence in a satchel over to the Justice Department. Breaking tonight, we finally know what was in that bag, and we're learning it's just one of several batches of intelligence being declassified, which may explain why former President Obama, other former intel officials like John Brennan have been lashing out and could be concerned about what's coming next. Grenell, acting director of National Intel. Fox has that exclusive video that I mentioned from last week of him bringing a list. We're now knowing what was in that bag. A list of which Obama officials went after retired General Michael Flynn and unmasked him. That could be illegal because normally the names of U.S. citizens that get picked up on wiretaps are blacked out for privacy. In the case of General Flynn, his name was originally redacted in the intel because he got swept up in a wiretap of a non-U.S. citizen, the Russian ambassador to the U.S., who you mentioned. So when Obama officials unmasked that Flynn was the one on the other end of the line during the presidential transition and then leaked it out to newspapers, it could be illegal because leaking unmasked information or using it for political gain is against federal law. Armed with that information from the wiretaps, FBI agents, as you noted, under the direction of Jim Comey, surprised Flynn for that questioning at the White House January 24th, 2017, just a few days after President Trump's inaugural. Significant, because I'm told tonight Grenell has specifically declassified the names of Obama officials who unmasked Flynn's name between Election Day 2016 and Inauguration Day 2017. Critical period, because remember, in his final days, President Obama had that early January 2017 meeting with officials like Comey, and Sally Yates has now revealed it was President Obama himself who revealed to her that Flynn was on the wiretaps. And then on inaugural day, Susan Rice wrote that odd email saying that, for the record, back about 15 days earlier at the meeting with Comey, President Obama said, do all these investigations by the book. Well, Attorney General Bill Barr has decided the probe of Flynn was not done by the book. He moved to drop the charges. A spokeswoman for Barr tonight confirmed to Fox that prosecutor John Durham is now looking at this unmasking issue, among others, wondering about whether there'll be prosecutions. And I'm hearing Grenell is declassifying 4 or 5 other batches of intel. We're waiting. The Justice Department says they're not going to release it. They're waiting for Grenell himself so we can get these names. But there's 4 or 5 other batches of intel, Tucker. And I'm told it could get sticky for John Brennan in particular because of some of the other info.
So do you have a sense of what other intelligence may be going public and what it could mean?
Another pivotal moment from January 2017. Remember, the U.S. intel community came out with that remarkable statement, an assessment declaring that Russia meddled in the 2016 election. And most importantly, the intel report claimed that Russia interfered because they wanted Donald Trump to win. That, of course, followed the narrative of the now discredited Steele dossier. Well, it turns out Obama's CIA chief, John Brennan, also had intel saying actually Russia wanted Hillary Clinton to win because she was a known quantity. She had been Secretary of State, and Vladimir Putin's team thought she was more malleable, while candidate Donald Trump was unpredictable. Fred Fleitz should get credit for this. He's a former chief of staff at the National Security Council under President Trump. He's written a story at FoxNews.com that Brennan suppressed some of the intel that suggested Russia wanted Clinton to win. I separately have an intelligence source tonight who confirmed that information is one of the 4 or 5 other batches of intel that Grenell is declassifying, that basically John Brennan, as CIA chief, held back. So there's some intel saying Putin wants Trump to win. There's other intel that may have been more serious, suggesting that Russia wanted Hillary Clinton to win. Rather than balancing all that out in the assessment, they put out there in that assessment and set the narrative that Russia wanted Trump to win. This could be a bombshell. The people on the inside are telling me, look, there are a lot of critics out there saying this is hype, there's nothing here. They say, wait, there's a whole lot more coming, Tucker.
I knew that was a lie. That's when they told us 17 intel agencies can conclude. I've been in D.C. an awfully long time. We don't have 17 intel agencies. That whole thing was, one of them was the Coast Guard, I think.
And nobody
that
can agree on anything. When you hear that everybody agrees on something.
Exactly. That's such a smart point. Exactly. Nobody agrees on anything, and they shouldn't.
Well, you and I do sometimes.
I meant the big, creepy, ominous intel agencies. Ed Henry, thanks so much for that. Amazing. We'll be watching weekdays 9 to noon Eastern. And, of course, we'll be following up on that kind of remarkable story. A lot of this stuff turns out to be fraud.